A 26-year-old in 1985 could work a summer job and save enough for a down payment on a starter home. A 26-year-old today would need to save every dollar from that same job for 11 years. Same age, same goal, completely different game. And the rules changed while nobody was paying attention. If you're renting right now, trying to figure out how anyone actually buys a home on a normal income, you've probably done the math and come up short. You're not bad at math. You're not doing anything wrong. The system is doing exactly what it was designed to do. And we're going to break down how it actually works so you can stop playing a rigged game by the wrong rules. Here's the part they don't teach you. Housing prices have been growing at roughly 6 to 8% a year in most major metros. The average American household income grows at about 3% a year. So you are literally on a treadmill that speeds up every time you try to save faster. The finish line moves while you run. You would think that if regular people can't afford homes, prices have to come down. That's not how this works. Because the buyers keeping prices elevated aren't saving for 20 years to afford a house. They're investors, equity-rich boomers downsizing, and corporations buying cash. When over 25% of homes sold in some markets are purchased by institutional buyers, your savings rate is irrelevant to what that home costs. Then there's what I call the golden handcuff problem. Millions of homeowners locked in mortgages at 2.5 to 3.5% between 2020 and 2022. If they sell and buy something else today, their rate goes from 3% to 7% on the new loan. Their monthly payment on the same house almost doubles. So they stay put. Supply disappears, prices hold. And you're stuck competing for a market that barely exists. So what does the lending industry do? They move the goalpost. The old standard was 20% down, then 10, then 5. Now there are programs where you put 1% down and a lender or grant covers the rest. On paper, this sounds generous. What it actually does is make it possible for prices to keep climbing, because entry is always just slightly within reach. Not because you have wealth, but because they keep reducing the barrier to debt. And I want to be clear about something. None of this is accidental. The same banks that give you a mortgage profit from high home prices. The same institutions managing retirement funds invest in housing REITs. The same policymakers who talk about housing affordability own multiple investment properties. The system isn't broken. It is functioning exactly as designed. The question is whether you understand the design well enough to work inside it or around it. So here is where I stop telling you things are broken and start telling you what to actually do. The people winning in this market are not out-saving the system. They are playing a completely different game. And once I explain what that game looks like, you're either going to do it or at minimum understand why waiting to buy in your current city might be one of the most expensive decisions you ever make. The first move is geographic arbitrage. The average home in Miami, Austin, or Seattle costs between $500,000 and $900,000. The same quality of life, same job market access if you're remote, same amenities exists in cities like Tampa, San Antonio, Raleigh, or Columbus for $250,000 to $350,000. If your income travels with you, the math on owning a home completely changes. You're not running from a city. You're recognizing that the housing premium in major metros no longer matches the value you get from being there. The second move is house hacking. Buy a duplex, triplex, or fourplex as your primary residence. Live in one unit, rent the others. In most markets, with a 5% down FHA loan on a duplex, Your tenants pay 60 to 100% of your mortgage. You are now building equity in a property while paying less than what rent on a single apartment would cost you. This is not a secret. It's just a strategy most people never heard framed this way. If you're not ready to buy, or if you're in a market where buying makes no sense right now, there is a way to still benefit from rising home prices without owning a single property. Residential REITs, real estate investment trusts, let you invest in a portfolio of properties through the stock market. Your down payment savings in a REIT grows with the housing market instead of falling behind it. You're no longer just watching prices go up from the sideline. You own a piece of the machine. It's not the same as owning your home, but it closes the gap. And I'll be honest with you about something people hate hearing. Waiting for a crash to buy is one of the most expensive strategies in real estate. People have been waiting for the 2008 repeat since 2015. A crash could still happen, but every year you wait in a rising market, you need prices to fall further just to break even on what you lost waiting. The data is clear. Time in the market beats timing the market. That applies to housing the same way it applies to stocks. The housing market is rigged. I'm not going to pretend otherwise. But understanding how something is rigged is the first step to not getting played by it. The people who win in a system like this are not the people who wait for it to be fair. They are the ones who learn the real rules, adjust their strategy, and move. You now know the mechanics. The question is what you do with them. Next video, we're going into something that hits even closer to home for most people watching this. How much you should actually have saved by the time you're 30, and why the number you've heard is probably either way too high or dangerously low depending on where you live. That one drops soon. Subscribe if you don't want to miss it.